Shaul and the men of Israel were gathered together, camped by the valley of Elah, and prepared for battle against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on the mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side. Right here, David picked up the stone that killed Goliath. Gideon and all the men that were with him got up early and set up camp beside the spring of Harod, so that the army of the Midianites were to the north of them, by the hill of Moreh, in the valley. This is where Gideon chose his 300 men, based on the way they drank from the stream. Isn't it easier to picture the dynamics of these stories from the Bible when you can see what the actual setting looked like? That in itself would be worth a visit to Israel. But there's more. It stirs up something within the very bones of many who do go. Why? As nations go, Israel is tiny, only about the size of Massachusetts or New Jersey. And only a century ago, most of it was either malaria-infested swamp or desert. When Mark Twain visited in the 1860s, he said even a chicken wouldn't be able to scratch out a living there. But since the Jews came back, this once dead land has been coming back to life. It may not all look like a land flowing with milk and honey yet, but look what they have accomplished. And the prophet says there's a bigger exodus yet to come. Many other people are waking up to the fact that it's not just our spiritual heritage, but our ancestral home. As the evidence grows that those who have heard the call of the promised shepherd are descendants of the northern 10 tribes of Israel, real, true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, just like the Jews are, many are returning to Yahweh's ancient covenant, as the prophets said we would. And that covenant is intrinsically tied to this particular place, the land of Israel itself.
In the land itself is going to teach you. It teaches you things you don't even know you're learning, and you don't even recognize till you've been back for a while. It's in the land that Yahweh said we're supposed to grow and prosper and become exceedingly fruitful and multiply. In the land. That's our context. And this land is not just a part of our covenant with Yahweh, it's the foundational part. This is where we can know who He is.
It's long been called the Holy Land. What that means is that it's one of a kind, set apart for a special purpose. Every inch of this land is packed with deep significance, and every day more is unearthed. There's world-class history around every turn. Only one of the 12 tribes, Judah, and the Levites who are among them, can permanently live there now. But it is open for all of us to visit. So, let's go.
Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you were born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you were born and reborn again.
When Yahweh promised to give it to Abraham's descendants, He told Abraham to travel the length and breadth of the land. So we're going to do the same, and see what it teaches us. In Scripture, anytime someone comes to Israel from somewhere else, he's described as ascending. And here we can see that as soon as one arrives in Israel, one actually does immediately rise to a higher level. The bluffs that jut sharply up from the beach are why this coast is called the Levant, the lifting up. And it keeps going up. From the level coastal plain, or Sharon, the terrain rises through the foothills, or Shvela, then into the mountains that form the country's backbone. As we follow the Jordan River back toward its source, Israel is to our left, Jordan to our right. Lebanon, Israel, and Syria all converge at Mount Hermon. From its snow-covered summit, to a climate fit for tropical vegetation, to the desert, to Mediterranean beaches, Israel's been given a little bit of everything, truly a microcosm of the whole world. It's a fine balance of both east and west, right where the two meet. Its major regions are the lush green Galilee, the Golan Heights, Samaria, Judea, and the Negev, the barren desert in the south. Jerusalem is just west of the Dead Sea, nestled in the mountains between Judea and Samaria.